So welcome, gentlemen, as well to our attendees. Welcome to this session that we are going to start, and it's an interesting conversation. So I'm your host. My name is Galbert Yandeji, and I'm the CEO of Innovice, a cybersecurity consultancy firm, and I'm as well part of the advisory board of Africa Cyber Defense Forum. And I would like to welcome you all to this important occasion in our time in the continent, where we're discussing about the cyber defense and cybersecurity, which is a global challenge. So I welcome you all. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes. So I just go directly to my topic, which is national security, cyber threats, cybersecurity as an emerging challenge for national security. So without wasting much time, I pass the floor to Mr. Eddy to introduce himself and also just tell us who he is and what he does. Welcome, Mr. Eddy.
Thank you, Gilbert. My name is Eddy Kayihura. I am Rwandese national and I live in Mauritius, where we have the headquarters of AfriNIC. AfriNIC is one of the 5 regional internet registries and mainly managing the numbers on the internet for the region of Africa and Indian Ocean. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our session. My name is Fidelis Muia. I work for the Kenya Bankers Association in the position of Director of Technical Services. Within the association, I coordinate a lot of the financial and banking industry initiatives, part of which is the security and technical operations of systems within the banking industry. So we do coordinate a lot of the fraud and cybersecurity initiatives in the banking industry in collaboration with the Central Bank of Kenya, the Communications Authority, and of course the law enforcement agencies.
As we wait for the other panelists to join us, I believe maybe I'll give you guys 3 minutes. I think you have a small presentation, maybe just to share what your organization does, I believe. So I'll again start maybe now with Mr. Fidelis to just go some of the small presentation I'm told you have to just be able to share some of the work you do before we go to the panel discussion. So you can go ahead.
Well, like I mentioned, we do quite a number of initiatives to do with payments, development of payment and innovations within the banking and financial industry. We also carry on a lot of security initiatives in terms of combating cyber crime and fraud within the banking industry in conjunction with the Central Bank Communications Authority. So I don't want to take too much time in that because I can take a whole day talking about that. So I'll just wait to make my information basically on my presentation. Yeah, I'm talking about the global impact of cybersecurity within the region. Basically, I'll focus on Africa, but I'll give you a global perspective. If you just look at the number of, sorry, let me just get my first presentation. Yes. If we look at cybercrime, basically a definition, computer-oriented crime. Basically, crime has moved from physical crime. Previously, we used to have gangsters attacking institutions and stealing money physically, but now with business moving into the internet and a lot of it, then obviously the criminals have followed through. So it becomes a natural progression for the financial industry to start being targeted by cybercrime criminals. Criminals have also become tech savvy, and so you will not be surprised to see migration of crime. Within studies that have been conducted, we have quite a number. The latest studies are yet to come out for this year, but last year we had quite a number of studies. And estimates show that cybercrime is basically going to cost about 5.2 trillion within the next 5 years. And that is in dollars. Within banks, capital markets, about 700 billion of it. That's according to one study. In 2018, 500 million personal records were stolen by cyber criminals, and this is just a 126% jump from 2017. So you can see it is a growing phenomenon. We also have quite a number of international organizations that have started looking at the scenario because it has taken a lot of tolls on these economies. So if we have organizations like the Millennium Project, which is a global participatory think tank that was established in 1996 under the American Council for United Nations University. This one coordinates international organizations within countries to collect statistics and also identify challenges around the world. Millennium Project has quite a number of different goals, and challenge number 12 is how we can combat transnational organized crime. According to their statistics, organized crime actually takes about $3 trillion per year, which is almost all the military spending in the world, just to give a perspective. And then we have a lot of mixture between organized crime, terrorism, and other different crimes. Basically, they're all morphing together. And then you can see quite a number of different things in terms of not just financials. For example, you can see 50% of all medication within the world is actually faked. So it is also impacting non-financial issues. Basically, what do criminals want? I have just shown on the screen the most valuable information that criminals look for. Customer information is most at target. Then other organizations within there, the 10 biggest threats, that was as at 2019. You can see phishing through emails, malware, cyber attacks, and espionage at the bottom. Phishing as a specific one, if we look at it, there's an organization known as the Anti-Phishing Working Group, which shows webmail 33%, payment systems 21%, 19% financial institutions targeted, and the different aspects of the economy being targeted there. So you can see it is basically looking at the whole economy as we know it, because everybody is moving to the internet. Most of the common forms of cybercrime, and we all know the top 5 notorious cyber attacks that we can all refresh our minds on. Identity theft and invasion of privacy is top within the world. Internet fraud, ATMs and wire frauds. Here we are looking at targeting specific devices like ATMs. Those of us who are in the security industry will know about jackpotting and such things. Illegal file sharing and software piracy, that's a very, very big problem in Africa. Counterfeiting and forgery is another one. Then, of course, there is a lot of child pornography that is basically mostly in Europe and America. That is a very big industry. Malware and cracking of software licenses. We are seeing a lot of that in Africa. It's actually quite a big problem because estimates show that about 50% of the software used in Africa is actually cracked or pirated software. So we have a major issue there. With services moving on to the internet, denial of service attacks are becoming very, very big problems for businesses, either for malicious intent or to basically deny services to different things for different purposes. Then we have the usual spam, phishing, and email hacking. Then a growth within especially Eastern Europe and Asia is ransomware, where we have a lot of businesses being held ransom because of encryption of data and people being held to ransom to pay for the data. So again, we can see different businesses impacted being by these systems. If I can quickly look at it, evolution of cybercrime. Nowadays, cybercrime is targeting mobile devices because everybody has a mobile device, and a lot of the information that criminals look for is basically on handheld devices, either mobile phones, laptops, and iPads and such things. So again, you will start seeing a very big rise of targeted such, with a lot of tools and productivity equipment there. In Africa, we have a specific problem. Africa's biggest problem is that we have one of the highest growth rate of mobile phones in the world. I think it's last estimate is about 62% annual growth. We also have a very high internet penetration. It's in the sub-Saharan Africa, I think it's in the 80s or so percent. And there's a very highly educated, young, and unemployed workforce. Now, this combination is very deadly because it provides a very fertile ground for easy money and cyber criminals basically having a field day recruiting idle IT talent that then sees the easy allure of financial benefits from cybercrime. And we look at that as specific problems for the criminals in Africa is financial services, government services, e-commerce, and mobile-based transactions, telecommunications, and other sectors. But the biggest problem we are seeing today is mobile fraud, because mobile money is very, very big in Africa. A lot of Africa's businesses are actually moving to mobile money and handheld devices to facilitate business. So again, the criminals are following. And the biggest problem we have in Africa is that most of the organizations within Africa do not have the necessary investments in cybersecurity, either because they don't see the value, because they don't appreciate the issues, or because they are basically lacking the resources. They are looking at business first. They have not really costed business as cybersecurity as part of their business. So it is a growing problem, and we are looking to see how that can work. So what are the businesses and organizations doing to combat fraud? Some studies by PwC show that about 62% of the organizations plan to spend more on cybersecurity in Africa and the world. 53% increased their cybersecurity budget. That was 2 years ago. And 15% of businesses are actually looking at it. So you can see a lot of costs that are associated with cybercrime are not basically due to losses. It's also due to spending in terms of investing in cybersecurity, looking to awareness, and looking to compliance within government regulations, prosecutions, and such things. That take a lot of resources out of it. The other big problem is with the world being interconnected. It is very difficult for an organization to combat threats because threats come from everywhere. So 3 major takeaways from that is that quantifying risk is a significant challenge in cybersecurity. And then we would be looking at picking battles where it comes to vulnerability management, because internet can come, or threats come from everywhere. So we need to start looking at where can I do something and where can I protect myself. And then, of course, the enterprise is being moved to the cloud and such things. And the challenge of interconnectivity within there is very, very high, because again, we are relying on third-party providers who may not necessarily be reliable as much as we can, or outside our control, especially when you are looking at servers in Asia, serving places in Africa and such. So that in a nutshell is what we are looking at in terms of the cost of businesses. I would have liked to speak for the rest of the day, but my time is limited. So thank you very much, and I will take any questions that people may have.
Thank you, Mr. Fidelis, for the beautiful presentation. Just hold on the question part. We're going to head to that. I introduce to the floor Mr. Eddy from AfriNIC.
Thank you, Gilbert. So once again, thank you for inviting me to this session. And as I was discussing yesterday with Gilbert, this seems to be very, very cyber defense oriented, and yet we've not been much into this field. But since it is internet, and we are one of the stakeholders on the space, I'd like to speak more about what we do, how AfriNIC operate, and mainly what is the contribution of AfriNIC in this type of space. So, as I said before, AfriNIC is an internet registry created in 2005 and based in Mauritius. We're currently serving 55 economies and in Africa and the Indian Ocean. And on the map there, you see how we are divided in 6 main regions, not necessarily the same division that the economic division in Africa is done, but this is the way we currently operate. We approximately have currently 1,800 members, and that are supported by 45 staff, I'd say 48 there. And we have currently data centers in South Africa, and considering to have another presence in another place in Africa soon. The services that we provide are mainly the management of the IPv4 and IPv6. As you know, IPv4 is currently depleting at a high rate. Though in Africa we still have some, but it's very important for networks and people using internet to get ready for the version 6 that is now already operational in multiple places, even in Africa. We also provide a public WIS service where we give information about, there's some public information about the different IP allocations that are there. And we also contribute to the IP address management, global policy development, and also we have a community that contributes. We are a member-based organization where our members are the ones who are mainly taking the leadership in contributing on the policies that we are using to manage these resources that are for the community. We also have 2 public meetings. Eventually now with our current situation, we are not in position to do so. So we all reverting to webinars and sessions like this one. And we also provide a lot of trainings, capacity building to our members and even the community at large in order for them to be better at IP resources and IP management. We do some internet research and a lot of outreach, making sure that we contribute to the growth of internet because yes, the internet has quite developed, but an internet that is stable, robust, and in big bandwidth is what we need to have for us to see a good growth of broadband and growth of economy on the continent. We always speak a lot about the digital economy, and we still have a lot of people who are not members, who are not participants to this economy because in our continent, we believe that there's still some gap and the bridge is still needed to be crossed where we have more users and more people are capable to understand and to utilize it in languages that they understand. So Africa is still playing catch up in a way. We also support a lot of internet infrastructure reinforcement development in Africa. Basically, we are working with the different internet exchange points. We also sometimes develop or support some of these IXPs to have DNS root server copy and different other services that we also do with academia. We have a good platform for capacity building where we've already trained a lot of engineers and even some managers. We have the numbers there, and people tend to appreciate a lot the capacity building sessions or material that we provide. Now, on this last slide, I'm going to talk about what is our contribution to the cyber defense ecosystem. We as I said, we are a membership-based organization, and we really do believe a lot in the multi-stakeholder approach, where we know that it's not a single entity that can fix everything. It's not a single entity that can take care of the entire picture. There's a lot of collaboration, a lot of support, a lot of back and forth between different entities. And part of what we mainly provide is we aim to give an accurate registry service. It's not always possible, but we do our best to provide the best possible information and the most accurate information that people would need, and mainly when the law enforcement agencies or any other person who's involved, because AfriNIC is not the police. AfriNIC is not really in any police or making sure that things work in a certain way, but we are mainly there to provide assistance and provide some information when needed. I also put there the compliance to policies and governance mechanism, which is us complying to a set of rules that gives a predictability, and you understand how we should be operating, how we are operating, and how we are treating the different requests that come to us. So we are also keen to be compliant to all this. Another service that we provide is the RPKI, which is authentication of the border gateway protocol, which is mainly used on the internet routing. Part of the threat and the risk that happen is root hijacks and session hijacks. So this RPKI allows the border gateway protocol to become more secure because now you can verify the authenticity of an announcement that you see on the routing table. Now, the challenge with this, it's not mandatory for everyone, so it's optional. Not all the members use it. So we're doing a lot of work to make sure that at least, first of all, it is stable. And we also grow the numbers of users who or members who are currently enabling the service so that we have more and more people using this feature and make the environment less prone to some of these hijacks. We also do a lot of capacity building because we believe that human beings are the ones that are really taking care of those networks and making sure that these networks operate resiliently and operate smoothly. Reverse DNS, which is which is also there to support on the fight against spam, is part of the service that we provide to our community. I put some dots there because we are part of the ecosystem, though we are not majorly specialists in this cyber defense space, but we also think that being part of this ecosystem, being part of this internet delivery, there is a contribution we can make, and we are very eager to hear from you and getting some suggestion from this community to see how best we can contribute to this cyber defense space. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And I think thank you so much for the beautiful presentation. And I think now next we are moving to head, where I think we are now going to discuss the hard matters. And let's now move to the panel discussion.